Welcome to a Starter and a Chaser podcast with your hosts, Joe Clark and John Passo.
Dude, I really don't like the way that banana's looking at me. Oh, hey guys, what's going on? This is a Starter and a Chaser podcast where weekly we review one whiskey and one beer just for you guys.
I'm professional brewer John Passo.
I'm whiskey connoisseur Joe Clark.
Joe, for the starter, what do we have this week?
Well, John, he's old and he's a granddad. Old granddad, bottled in bond 100 proof.
Nice. And for the beer, we have Budweiser Copper Lager.
Nice. And what's with the copper lager? A little something under there?
A little something at the very bottom. It is aged on Jim Beam bourbon barrel staves.
That's crazy because there's something in common here because Old Granddad, bottled in bond, Old Granddad in general, is a Jim Beam product. It's actually a high rye bourbon made popular by Basil Hayden. This is the bottled in bond version, which means it was part of the Bottled in Bond Act. It is at least 4 to 6 years old, so at the very least a 4-year-old bourbon, and they are always 100 proof no matter what. And that's Bottled in Bond Act is controlled by a government warehouse, so it is distilled in one season. It is called a part of the Olds by Jim Beam. So Old Overholt Rye and Old Granddad, they market them as the Olds, and it is owned by Beam Suntory, which is Jim Beam. Old Granddad whiskey in general, not the bonded one, has been around since 1840.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a long time. It's got to be good, right?
Got to be old.
Right. And let me tell you that it is $19.99 here in Ohio.
Not the year, the price. So that color is corn, kind of like a little roasted corn. Yeah. Golden, brownish.
It's a little on the darker side, medium side, something like that. Yeah.
Well, that's actually pretty thick. Not super thick, but it's got some thickness to it.
It does. Yeah, we're getting lucky with this lately.
Yeah. What's the smell on this?
So right off the rip, you get your typical. It's not a super complex bourbon. Don't take that by any means. Very caramely. You get a lot of that, I shouldn't say a ton like a regular rye, but you do get the baking spices coming through. It's a high rye bourbon, so you do get that coming through on the nose. A little sweetness with vanilla. Not a lot of the fruits or dark fruits you get on some of the other bourbons. It's pretty simple.
So kind of straightforward, not
rye,
complex.
Baking spice. Yeah, not super complex. I think we should try it and see what
Dove right in. All right.
Let's get it, guys. There it is again, what I was talking about. What are you getting, John? I'm going to let you take this over.
Okay. Right up front, I got a big dose of heat. I mean, it starts at the front of the tongue and then just moves down. Good Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
Kentucky.
It's a man's drink.
It's a man drink. As Joe's father affectionately says.
Yes.
I get a lot of caramel right up front. I'm going to go for a second one. And as I go for my second one, Joe, tell our audience what you're getting.
So I get barrel notes throughout, front to back. Definitely get the caramel in there, a little vanilla, a little nutmeg, a lot of baking spices on this one, similar to a rye whiskey. And then the finish is not very long. For me, it's kind of gone fast, to be honest with you. The finish is a little bit on the sweeter side for me, brown sugar.
Okay. On my second sip, I totally see what Joe's talking about with the barrel notes.
Yeah.
The image that came to my mind when I took that second sip was you have a barrel stave and you've poured whiskey over it, and it's now seeping into the cracks of the barrel, and the barrel is like my tongue. You know, I get those little whiskey notes seeping into the little cracks of my tongue, but is just dominated by the barrel.
It is. It's very woody.
Yeah, woody.
Almost definitely. Like when he's talking about the barrel staves, I'm sitting there imagining like just gnawing on the barrel stave itself. To be honest with you, it's a lot of barrel characteristic. For me, not bad, but
no, it's not bad barrel. When I I've thrown this out in previous episodes where I'll say this is very barrel forward, but it's not splintery. This is splintery. It is, like Joe's saying, licking the side of a barrel.
Yeah.
But it's not unpleasant.
No, it's not.
It's really not unpleasant.
It's kind of a well-crafted licking the side of the barrel.
Yeah. For me, usually when something's splintery, it is just over-oaked. It's nothing but tannins, and it's not a pleasant experience. This is the first time that actually has been a pleasant experience for me, so I'm really shocked at that. I'm also getting some of the baking spices, the cooking spices.
Get brown sugar on the back?
Getting some brown sugar on the back, and it's raw.
Nice.
It's not like dissolved brown sugar. It's not cooked brown sugar or caramelized or anything like that. I do get some caramel, but that brown sugar definitely is just like straight brown sugar out of the bag.
Yeah. It's not a hint. It's noticeable.
Definitely some rye notes. Does this have rye in it?
It's a high rye bourbon.
Oh,
Yes,
that
it is.
explains it. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
If
you're a bourbon fan and you're a rye fan and you like a lot of the barrel wood characteristics, this is a great drink, and it's a hell of a value.
It's pretty hot, though. I will say
hot.
It's pretty hot.
No, yeah, it is 100 proof. You know, a lot of people are just nowadays, I know 100 proof is like the norm, but
the 100 proof is now.
So I go back and forth. I like a smooth bourbon sometimes, and sometimes I like something that just really just punches you in the gut with it. And this one does, man. It gives you. I'm not saying ethanol or anything like that. It just you feel
warm.
it.
It's warm.
You feel it.
Yeah, it punches you. It
all the way
grabs
down.
you.
Yeah.
I don't do a ton of mixed drinks, but I could see this being a really great base for a nice old fashioned. This would be a killer old fashioned.
Yeah.
Old granddad old fashioned.
We need to do an episode on, like, instead of drinking, and we can revisit some of these cheaper bourbons that we have like this and make an old fashioned out of it and see how we like it then. What do you guys think? Why don't you comment below what you think of the old granddad bottled and bond, because we would really like to know your opinion on it.
And tell us what your favorite cocktail is, just in case we do a feature episode on mixed drinks.
Oh, we will.
Yes, we will. And speaking of which, we will be back with
The Chaser,
which will be Budweiser's Copper Lager.
Jim Beam.
See you in a bit, folks.
See you guys.
Welcome back to the second part of a Starter and a Chaser podcast. We are on to the Chaser, and we have Budweiser Copper Lager. Now, this is from Anheuser-Busch, which is actually now Anheuser-Busch InBev. The company was started back in 1852, and they first started producing Budweiser way back in 1876.
That's a long time ago.
This is their Copper Lager. It is an American amber lager that's 6.2% ABV, and they actually teamed up with Jim Beam on this one.
Jim Beam.
So they aged this beer on Jim Beam bourbon staves, bourbon barrel staves.
Wow.
So this was a limited series that they produced, and it was in honor of the 85th anniversary of the repeal of Prohibition. And so we're going to crack this open.
Question
and see
for you.
what we think. Yeah.
Now, when you say the beer is aged with the staves, so how does that happen? Like, do they have beer barrels and then they have sections of staves from Jim Beam and they put them in the barrels?
So what they do is basically they ferment the beer. Wow, that's a tough cap to get off.
That's America right there.
That's America cap.
we ain't pussies like that.
Oh, that's why it was tough. It was a twist off. So, to answer your question, what they do typically is they'll ferment the beer and then they'll transfer it into a tertiary fermenter or a secondary storage tank that will have the barrel staves in there.
Oh, cool.
And then they'll just age the beer on those staves for a certain amount of time and pull it off and bottle it. So
cool.
That's typically how it's done. I'm not entirely sure about Budweiser's progress. Wow,
look at the color on that for Budweiser.
Wow.
Whoa. Thumbs up on the color, boys. Damn, look at that. I have high expectations here, John.
The color is really impressive. Let's
look
put
at that. It's almost like a
feature shelf.
Almost like an Irish red ale kind of color going on, man.
American amber lager.
Wow,
right there.
look at that. That is awesome coloring, guys. Wow.
Once again, gotta showcase the head here. That is a nice head. What are you picking up on the smell?
Oh, no way, man. This is like small craft brewery kind of smells coming through. And what I exactly mean by that is it's got a hoppy note to it, dude.
Yeah. Something that
citrusy.
Anheuser-Busch usually isn't known for is the hop forward beer.
If I was blind and I was nosing on this, I would not guess this was a Budweiser product at all. No, I would have thought you ripped open something craft.
Yeah,
really.
Some Bell's or something
Absolutely,
like that.
yeah.
So you're picking up hops on the nose? Anything else?
It's a little citrusy.
Okay.
A little malty, man. Picking up some malts on there, dude. Let's rip into this. I can't wait on this one. Let's go, guys.
All right.
Wow. That is malty. Dude, really? For real? I mean...
Okay.
I'm letting you take over. I'm not saying anything else. What the fuck?
This is the most flavor-forward Anheuser-Busch product that I have ever had.
Ever.
It is extremely malt-forward. There is some barrel notes to this.
Yeah.
There is some Jim Beam that comes through.
Yeah.
For me, Jim Beam, it has a nice little bit of sweetness to it, and then I pick that up in here.
Yeah.
And I pick up some of the oak tannins. There is a little hop note. That being said, the malt on this does come across a little bit like malt liquor sweetness. Mm-hmm. It's not quite like a craft beer maltiness. It's more on the malt liquor side of malt sweetness, I feel, if that makes sense.
I think it fits this beer very well.
The sweetness?
Yeah. This is very well-crafted beer from Budweiser, man. I'm really shocked by this. I think they definitely deserve.
You guys do deserve props for this. This is
that's the word I'm looking for. Props
for a macro company, not a micro brewery. For a macro company, This is very impressive.
Yeah, I agree. I was not expecting. I'm not like the biggest fan of Budweiser in general because, I drank a lot of it in my younger years going to the bars and, bad decisions are made. I was never expecting this from Budweiser, and I am very impressed by this. There's a lot of flavor going on here, guys.
Yeah, what are you tasting? So
I get a lot of the barrel notes through on this one also. Definitely, if you want to pair these two together to drink for the day, if you're a whiskey and beer guy, boom. I mean, they complement each other big time. Or, I don't know, maybe pick out one of their other Jim Beam products. I'm sure it would come through nicely on this. Citrusy. I'm getting a little bit of caramel on this one, too. Yeah, definitely. And it's definitely a sweeter malt on the back end that I get. It finishes very sweet. Actually, John, I'm pulling brown sugar out of this on the end, just like that one. And we did clean and cleanse our pellets on this. Pallets on this one, and in between, which we always do. And I'm pulling a similar, not as strong, but very similar finish. Yeah, this is nice. I could drink this.
Very cool. Yeah. Nice.
This could be a rotation here, for sure.
Nicely done, Budweiser. By the way, if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to hit like and subscribe and hit the bell so you get notifications of our weekly episodes whenever they get published. And by the way, we do have a Patreon account. If you're enjoying the episode, be sure to check out the link in our YouTube description below about how to sign up for and help support us if you enjoy the podcast.
And also, if you can't visually watch us at whatever time, right below here are all the links that you can hear us. So we're on all the big podcast sites, just like Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Spotify.
Yeah.
And they're all right down here, guys. Give us a listen, give us a like, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell.
Now, at the end of every episode, we always revisit what we've drunken and give it a thumbs up and thumbs down. So,
in the Discord,
Joe,
we
with
have
the old granddad.
He's a dad. He's a grandpa. It's bonded.
Thumbs down.
2 thumbs up, guys. This is one of the original bourbons that I love to drink, and I still love to drink this. I haven't actually had this in a little while, and I don't remember pulling that barrel character. I mean, heavy barrel carrot, like gnawing on that thing. And it's so interesting. It's very good.
For me, so 2 thumbs up for you, you
Yes,
said?
2 thumbs up.
For me, I'm going to do 1 thumbs up and a half a thumb.
Okay.
It's straightforward. It is very barrel heavy in a very pleasing and good way. However, the heat on that, I know it's 100 proof, but we have had a lot of 100 proof bottles, and we found that some of them are extremely hot and some of them are very well integrated. This one for me was pretty hot, and that knocks it down a bit for me.
Okay.
So 1 thumb up and half a thumb.
And take account to that it is a very inexpensive whiskey. I bought it at $19.99, so take that into mind too, guys. It's not going to be a Blanton's. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Now,
for me, it's good.
Anheuser-Busch InBev Copper Lager Budweiser.
Total shocker.
Total shock.
Shocker.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Oh man, I wish I
Final
didn't have to
thoughts?
do this. Shit. I'm going to do... Damn, John, this is tough for me, man. I'm trying to really put it up on the rating scale. I'm actually going to get... What is the cost of this? Do we know the cost of it?
A single bottle cost me $1.69 here in Ohio. So, you know,
talking-
six
I bet
pack probably
$8
like
bucks.
$10 probably for a 6-pack.
All right, let's go by that. $8 to $10 for something like that.
Drum roll.
Yeah, man, this is tough. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to go like this. I don't even know where this is at. It's definitely not 1.5. It is closer to 1 thumb.
1 and a quarter.
1 1/4.
1 and a quarter.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to say 1 1/4.
How come?
It could be better for the price, I think. But also within that price range, what can you expect? At the same time, I think out of any Budweiser product I've ever had, that is their best product.
I'm going to go 1 thumb up and 1 thumb down. While it is by far the best Budweiser product I have ever had, for the price and that real kind of malt liquor sweetness really threw me off. And the more that I drank, it became a little tougher, harder to overcome that malt liquor sweetness. So for me, 1 thumb up, 1 thumb down. But if you're a fan of Budweiser and you want to experience this, I say go out and get it, because
that's probably your best
going to be rock your world for Bud fans out there. And also, just a heads up, this is a limited production. It's not a year-round thing. So if you want to try it, get out there and try it, because it's not going to be around long.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And by the way, speaking of bottles, if you have a bottle of beer or whiskey that you would like to donate to the show, shoot us an email at whiskeyandbeer@starterandchaser.com, which is also our website address with starterandchaser.com. And that is this week's episode. Tune in next week where we review another whiskey and beer. What will it be?
I don't know. See you next time.
Yeah. So,
all right, man.
About what we were talking about before. What are your thoughts on that, man?
I don't know, man. I'm just... What the hell were we talking about before?
That's why I tossed it to you.
That's how we're ending it.